You're standing in a crowded room, music is playing, people are laughing all around you, and somehow you've never felt more alone. That doesn't make sense. Not on paper. You are surrounded by other humans. But the feeling in your chest says otherwise. It says empty. It says unseen. Why does loneliness ignore the head count? The answer isn't about the room, it's about your brain. And your brain is running software far older than parties, far older than crowds of strangers standing 3 feet apart. For most of human history, you never stood next to a stranger. Not once. For nearly all of the 300,000 years modern humans have existed, people lived in small bands. Anthropologists estimate these groups held roughly 20 to 50 people. Everyone had a name. There was no such thing as a stranger at a party. Your brain evolved inside that small, known world. It never got the memo that the world changed. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar studied primate brain size and proposed something now called Dunbar's number. The idea that humans can only maintain around 150 stable relationships at once. Not faces you recognize. People whose lives you actually track. Think about that crowded room. How many people there were inside your real 150? Maybe 3. Maybe none. Your brain doesn't register the rest as company. It registers them as noise. And to a nervous system built for small tribes, a room full of unfamiliar faces isn't comforting. It's a little alarming. Here's where it gets stranger. Loneliness isn't a flaw. It's a feature. Picture an ancestor who wandered too far from the group. Isolation back then wasn't uncomfortable. It was lethal. No group meant no shared food, no warning system for predators, no one to help if you got hurt. So evolution built an alarm. When you drift from close connection, you feel bad, for the same reason hunger exists. Hunger tells you to eat. Loneliness tells you to reconnect. Psychologist John Cacioppo, who researched loneliness for decades at the University of Chicago, described it as functioning like physical pain. Not a sign something is wrong with you, a signal doing its job like a smoke detector. But smoke detectors don't know the difference between a house fire and burnt toast. Your loneliness alarm doesn't know the difference between true isolation and simply being around people who don't know you. It measures one thing: emotional closeness, not proximity, not head count. That's why you can feel alone at a packed party and at peace on a quiet night with one close friend. It's not about how many people are near your body. It's about how many are near your inner life. Your brain also wants closeness it recognizes, built from years of shared history. Modern life surrounds you with people but strips away the one thing your brain needs: the same faces, seen for years. You move cities, friend groups dissolve, co-workers rotate every few years. Researchers studying hunter-gatherer societies, including long-term fieldwork by anthropologist Kim Hill, have found small-scale societies maintain stable bonds that often last entire lifetimes. Compare that to a modern adult who might change their closest circles several times before 30. Your brain wasn't built for a revolving door of faces. It was built for permanence. So here's the modern mirror. You scroll a feed and see hundreds of people. You sit in a meeting with a dozen coworkers. You stand in a room full of noise and laughter. And your ancient tracking system quietly runs its calculation. How many of these people actually know me? How many would notice if I left? When the number comes back low, the alarm sounds. Not because you're broken, because a hunting and gathering brain, dropped into a world of highways and group chats, is still counting the way it always counted. It's still asking the only question it ever learned to ask: who, in this room, actually has my back? You're standing in a crowded room. Music is playing. People are laughing all around you. And your brain, tracking the same small tribe it has always tracked, quietly tells you the truth. You're not lonely because you're alone. You're lonely because your oldest instincts are still looking for the 20 people who used to know your name.